Welcome to this explainer. Today we're not just looking at basic health or wellness. We're actually going on a deep dive into the hidden operating system that governs human life. For decades, I think we've all treated aromatherapy as just this spa luxury, right? Just a pleasant scent to make a room feel cozy. But modern neuroscience, it reveals a completely different reality. We're going to decode how microscopic molecules suspended in the air act as a hardwired neurological master key capable of altering your brain's chemistry in literal seconds. Okay, so let's really dive into this. What if the absolute fastest way to rewrite your nervous system was completely invisible? Think about that. Every single day, you're bombarded by these unseen biological forces that shape your sleep, your energy, and your emotional resilience. Scent molecules are not just smells, they're actually biological code. They're acting as a backdoor to your biology, hacking into your systems without you even realizing it's happening.
To understand how this works, we've got to look at the brain's architecture. Your brain is protected by this incredible fortress called the blood-brain barrier, which keeps foreign substances out. And on top of that, most of your sensory inputs, like what you see and hear, they have to pass through a sensory filtering station called the thalamus before they even reach your conscious mind. But scent is the ultimate exception. It's the absolutely only sense that bypasses the thalamus entirely. It crosses straight into the central nervous system. It is, quite literally, a biological backdoor.
Let's actually trace the physical journey of just one single inhaled molecule. First, it enters your nose and dissolves right into the nasal mucus. Second, it binds to olfactory receptors. Now, these are tiny G-protein-coupled receptors that convert that chemical binding into an electrical signal. Third, that electrical spark shoots straight up to the olfactory bulb. And finally, boom, it hits the limbic system, which is the brain's emotional core. This is a direct, completely unfiltered neurological highway.
But what exactly is traveling on this highway, right? We need to elevate this whole discussion from just talking about smells to rigorous molecular biology. What we're actually talking about are volatile organic compounds, or VOCs. These are unbelievably tiny, hydrophobic molecules. We're talking under 300 Daltons in weight. And because they're so incredibly small and fat-soluble, they just easily evaporate into the air, cross biological membranes, and interact directly with cellular receptors in your body. So we're talking about highly active chemical agents here, like terpenes, alcohols, and esters.
Now, the true magic is where these molecules end up once they enter the limbic system. They actually hit two critical structures at the exact same time. On one side, you have the amygdala, which is your brain's threat detection center. When an inhaled molecule, say linalool from lavender, hits the amygdala, it immediately suppresses acute threat responses, bringing down your sympathetic tone. But at the exact same time, it triggers the hippocampus, the region responsible for long-term memory. This incredible dual-action mechanism explains exactly why a specific scent can instantly lower your heart rate while simultaneously unlocking this vivid, long-forgotten memory.
And here is the crazy consequence most people never see. 5 minutes. That is literally all it takes. Studies have shown that within just 5 minutes of percutaneous absorption, like if you're getting an oil massage, for example, the main essential oil constituents can be detected flowing right through your bloodstream. This is not some slow digestive process. We're talking about a rapid, systemic infiltration.
Which brings us to a really profound mystery. If these microscopic molecules can bypass the blood-brain barrier and enter your bloodstream in just 5 short minutes, what exactly are they doing inside your neural circuitry? Let's zoom in a bit deeper and look at the actual neuropharmacology going on here.
To really grasp the impact, you have to understand the GABAergic system. Gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA, is essentially your body's natural braking system. It's the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter in your central nervous system. So when your brain is hyperactive, or you're anxious, or in pain, GABA is what slams on the brakes. And dysfunction in this exact network is heavily linked to severe clinical conditions like epilepsy, chronic pain, and profound anxiety.
Here's where the hidden operating system really reveals itself. Compounds found in essential oils actually act as molecular keys. Specifically, they act as positive allosteric modulators. When a compound like linalool binds to your GABA receptors, it increases the receptor's affinity for GABA, keeping its chloride channels open longer. This influx of negative chloride ions hyperpolarizes the neuron. Simply put, it literally forces the neuron to stop firing, which produces a profound, deep state of calm at a cellular level.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how specific these molecules are. It's not just some generic response. Different volatile compounds are uniquely coded to trigger very different systems. So linalool from lavender locks into GABA receptors to calm anxiety, Limonene from citrus oils targets serotonin and dopamine pathways to actually elevate your mood. Alpha-pinene from pine trees acts as a cholinesterase inhibitor, which means it literally increases acetylcholine to support memory and sharp focus. You are, in effect, breathing in highly specific biological software.
Now, for the skeptics out there who might think this is just a placebo effect, science has an answer. Researchers conducted these really elegant neuropharmacology studies using a drug called flumazenil. Flumazenil is a specific antagonist that physically blocks GABA receptors. Well, when scientists administered flumazenil alongside calming essential oils, the calming effects completely vanished. Gone. This proves absolutely without a shadow of a doubt that we aren't just dealing with nice smells here, we are dealing with hard, measurable neurochemistry.
Let's zoom out for a second and see how this builds across your entire body. We call this the systemic ripple effect. It all starts with that suppressed amygdala hyperactivity in the brain. That newfound calmness signals the hypothalamus, which is the brain's homeostatic regulator, to dial back the release of corticotropin-releasing hormone, or CRH. And that directly leads to lowered systemic cortisol levels across your entire hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. A single breath literally cascades into a full-body hormonal shift. It's amazing.
The ultimate implication here is just staggering. By inhaling the right microscopic molecules, you are effectively rewiring your autonomic nervous system. You're manually pulling your biology out of a sympathetic fight or flight state and shifting it right into a parasympathetic rest and digest state. This hands you the keys to your own nervous system, helping to restore autonomic balance, enhance recovery, and ultimately promote cellular longevity.
So the crucial point is this. If scent is this incredibly powerful biological tool, you have to know how to wield it. Treating your symptoms and optimizing your health requires proper scientific protocol. You can't just blast your nervous system with these molecules 24/7 and expect miracles, right? You really have to understand the operator's manual.
The very first rule of this manual is understanding olfactory fatigue, which is also known as habituation. This is the body's natural adaptation to a continuous aroma. Basically, over time, your receptors become desensitized and the therapeutic effects diminish. That feeling of becoming nose-blind isn't just some illusion. It's a very real physiological, medical signal from your nervous system telling you that your olfactory system is saturated and desperately needs a reset.
This brings us to a supercritical threshold, 60 minutes. Research shows that while diffusing essential oils for 15 to 60 minutes can promote relaxation and lower your heart rate, exposure beyond that 1-hour mark can actually reverse the benefits entirely. Overloading your system can lead to a dangerous increase in heart rate, severe headaches, and debilitating brain fog. More is definitely not better here. Precision is better.
To manage this exposure, you need to understand your tools. Active diffusers use things like electricity or ultrasonic vibrations to actively push very intense aromas right into the air. Because they're so potent, they really should be capped at 30 to 60-minute intervals. Passive diffusers, on the other hand, rely on natural evaporation. They release a much subtler aroma, making them perfectly safe for continuous background use. So the intensity of your delivery mechanism absolutely dictates the duration of your exposure. Here is your exact protocol, your official operator's manual for hacking your recovery. First, limit those active diffusion sessions to 30 to 60 minutes max. Second, make sure to rotate your oils every 1 to 2 months to prevent that habituation we talked about and keep your receptors responsive. Third, always dilute oils with a carrier for safe topical application, which allows for sustained systematic absorption. And finally, respect the biology of those around you. Adjust your duration and oil choices for vulnerable groups like the elderly, children, and pets.
Now, if you're still wondering if this is truly medicinal, just look at the clinical validation. The National Cancer Institute has reviewed data showing the therapeutic applications of these exact protocols. Hospitals in New York are actively using lavender to lower preoperative anxiety before surgery. Intensive care units are using it to decrease objective stress markers in critically ill patients. And studies even show that specific citrus oils can significantly decrease trauma responses in PTSD models. This isn't fringe science. This is the hidden operating system being utilized at the absolute highest levels of medical care.
We began this explainer by looking at a pleasant scent and uncovered a full-blown neurological master key. You now know that invisible molecules can completely bypass your brain's defenses, manipulate your GABA receptors, and cascade right down into your hormone systems to shape your stress levels and aging. It really leaves us with a final, lingering thought to explore. If a simple breath of microscopic molecules can instantly rewrite your brain's chemistry, what other invisible forces are quietly shaping the trajectory of your life? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning, keep discovering, and I'll see you next time.